Welcome to the Frustration to Freedom podcast, helping advisors and insurance producers grow their practice. My name is Mike Bemis, Senior Advisor Development Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. I got my partner in crime here, Jeremy Karja, also Senior Advisor Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. Jeremy, we got an exciting topic today.
Yes, we
Exciting
do.
one that we're actually going to be doing at our quarterly coaching coming up here. As we're recording this, going to be next week.
Yep.
We're going to talk about objections, how to handle objections, and maybe.
Yes.
So, Jeremy, just give me some of your initial thoughts on objections and how to handle them as we get started.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes we see people make with objections in really any sales arena, but in insurance and financial advising in particular, is you kind of get combative, right? Somebody hits you with an objection and all of a sudden you're thinking like, oh, they're going against me. But if you think and remember, it's a buying sign, right? Objections are good. Remind yourself that over and over. Objections are good. Now, how you handle them also is really important. A lot of people say, hey, the market always comes back, and they say, no, it doesn't, and they get combative, right? So I think the art of objections, Mike, is you have to get on their side of the table, I like to call it, where basically if they throw an objection at you, you're almost like agreeing, because if you think about it, their circumstances and where they came from or what they're saying, part of it may be accurate. They just might not have the full story, as you'll find here in a minute. So think about what you can agree with them on. And I hate annuities. Hey, I hate them too. Because don't we all hate certain type of annuities? I haven't met an advisor yet that loves every single kind of annuities. And the market always comes back. That's true. It does always come back, right? But in their circumstances, do they have time for it to come back, right? Are they taking money out while it comes back? There's other things to think about. But the point is get yourself on the other side of the table with them. Get your mental arm around them and say, hey, I get it. I see where you're coming from. Or help me understand where you're coming from. And now all of a sudden, I feel like I'm on the same side of the table with you. So hopefully everyone who's listening, they'll understand that and see that as me and Mike go through this today.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo briefly what you're saying is if we can get on their side and understand, sometimes the objection is just because they're uneducated, right? Mm-hmm. Or that's, they've only know part of the story, like you're saying, right? And so we just need to help fill the gap and get on their side and then help them understand. So let's rock and roll. How about we do this? How about we go through some of the objections? We're going to go back and forth. I'll ask you an objection. You answer it. You ask me an objection. I'll answer it. And let's just go back and forth and role play these. So I would say these are some of the, 10 to 12 most common objections that you're going to get out there. And we're going to go through how to answer them. A little thing is, listen to our tone, listen to our pacing, listen to, how we respond.
Yeah, I love it. I love role plays, Mike. So let's do this.
Let's do it. So Jeremy, we had a bad experience with our last advisor and we want to take our time with this.
Okay. I can appreciate that. And in fact, we are going to take our time with this. We're going to go real slow. So help me understand that a little bit, Mike. Tell me about that bad experience you had, because I'm sorry to hear that.
We went to a different dinner seminar and we met with this guy and he just tried to push this annuity down our throat. Mm-hmm. The first time we met with him, and something with a big bonus, and it really rubbed us the wrong way. And so we're looking for somebody that's actually going to put a plan together for us.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, it's a hard thing out there because a lot of people, if they're only selling hammers, everything to them is a nail, right? So I can appreciate that. And we are going to take this slow. One thing I like to tell my clients is it's your money, Mike. I'm just the advisor. So at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your money and you decide what you want to do with it. Fair enough?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, let's keep going then. All right, next one. Mike, I don't want to use an annuity. Is this an annuity?
I understand. There's other instruments out there, but this is the only one that has guaranteed income for the rest of your life and the rest of your spouse's life. And if you both die early, your kid gets what's left over. This is the only instrument out there that actually guarantees it.
Yeah, but I had an aunt that she lost all of her money, Mike. I mean, she died and the company just kept it.
I've heard of those stories before, and I hate those kind of annuities. I'll say this: there's good annuities and there's bad annuities out there.
Mm,
Just like
okay.
there's lots of different types of cars, right? There's trucks, SUVs, there's minivans, there's lots of different you know vehicles for different purposes,
Yeah, I
right?
guess I don't drive a semi to work every day.
You
That
don't,
makes
right?
sense.
Okay. And so there's something called a revocable annuity and an irrevocable annuity. The one that your aunt bought, and I don't like this kind. It's called a irrevocable annuity, which means I can't change my mind. I lock my money. I die early. Ding, ding, ding. The insurance company says I got another one, and they keep it all. I don't
Mm,
like that kind. To you, that might be a semi, right?
yep.
The kind that I use for some of my clients is called a irrevocable annuity, which means I can change my mind. I don't lock my money, but it still pays me that guaranteed income for the rest of my life. Think of it like a personal pension. Back in the day, my grandpa worked for an electric company for 40 years. What did he get at the end of it? A gold watch and a paycheck for the rest of his life, right? Well, those are gone now, right? I mean, there are still pensions out there, but a lot of people don't have access to them. So, what it makes
Got
sense
it.
for some of our money is to put it in a irrevocable personal pension annuity where I can change my mind. If I die early, my kids gets what's left over. But let's say, Jeremy, you and your wife live a long time with medical advances. You live to 100, 105, 95, whatever that is. Even if that pot of money runs out, it still keeps paying you.
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, you said not all the money. So,
No,
okay.
no. I mean, I
Okay.
would never put all the money in one spot.
Okay. I like that. I like to diversify. Okay. Fair enough.
Jeremy, I hate annuities.
You hate annuities?
I hate annuities.
I have a confession, Mike. I
What's
hate
that, Jeremy?
annuities too.
You do?
Yeah. But I love what they do.
Okay. Tell me more. Why?
Well, annuities are the only thing on the face of the earth that give you guaranteed income as long as you live. If you die, your spouse gets that payment as long as they live. You both die, the kids get the remaining balance.
Hmm.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it?
I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Now tell me a little bit, why do you say you hate annuities? Because I have my reasons why I hate certain type of annuities, but I want to hear yours.
Well, I mean, they have high fees. I don't want to
Mm,
lock up my money. Ken Fisher says they're bad. So does Susie Orman,
true,
right?
true.
My other financial advisor, he said, whatever you do, don't buy an annuity. So why should I buy an annuity from you?
Well, that's a good question. So I agree with those people. I do not like a lot of those type of annuities you referenced, but there are different types out there, right? Like anything, there's
Yeah.
different types and different kinds. Maybe 90% of the annuities that have been sold over the years, I don't even like those ones. Those high fee ones you mentioned, those are usually called variable annuities. When you hear the big talking heads on TV and radio and podcasts, they're usually referencing those annuities
Okay.
because you're right, those do have high fees. I personally have seen fees on those type of annuities anywhere from 3 to 5% on average, me personally. The ones we like to use have low to no fees. We're talking around 1% to no fee at all, right? And the ones we use, unlike those that you can lose money, ours you cannot lose money. Now, we're not
Okay.
one of those one trick ponies where all we do is annuities. We look at the whole plan and figure out what would make the most sense for you. Now, after the quick conversation, I think a portion of your assets would be wise to put into an annuity that can guarantee you income for the rest of your life. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. I'm
Okay.
open to the conversation.
Yeah, we'll walk through it again. We're gonna take it real slow, Mike. Right? At the end of the day, it's your money. I'm just the advisor.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Mike, is that all you do? Is annuities?
No, we do a lot of different things. We do life insurance, long-term care. We do assets under management. Our services, we start with income planning because we realize, America's number one fear is running out of money. And once you have the guaranteed income that you want, I'm not talking about just pay your bills, but actually that you want, everything else falls into place.
Okay. Okay, so you offer other things other than annuities because I've been to these seminars where all they do is annuities. I go meet with them and all they talk about is annuities, and I don't know, I just had a bad taste in my mouth for annuities. So it's good
Yeah.
to hear you do other stuff.
I mean, I get turned off by those people too. That's why I really do holistic planning in our office. And like I said, typically we just start with that foundation of income. But let me ask you this, Jeremy, if we have your income you want for the rest of your life, not that you need, but that you want, does that change how you invest the rest of your assets? Would you maybe actually focus a little more on growth with the rest of your assets instead of just conserving it to make sure you had that paycheck?
Guess I never thought of that, Mike. Yeah, I would like that steady paycheck again for sure.
Here's actually what I understand is I actually think for some of your money, if we put it into annuity, it actually frees the hostages of the rest of your money. Because if everything's in the market, you're locked up in the market, and you have to rely on the growth of that market to create the income that you want. Well, if I can take 20, 30, maybe 40, I got to run the numbers. If I can take maybe 20, 30, 40% of your assets and get your income that you want, you can still take your trip to Europe every year with that income. You can take your golf trip, Jeremy, every year with your buddies. Your wife can do the spa trip every year because we have the income coming in. Now it changes what we do with the rest. I mean, we can.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So again, I got to run the numbers. We'll see what it looks like, but it might make sense for some of your money.
Okay. Fair enough. I think I want to pause just for a quick second. Oh, I love the flow that's going on here. One thing I just want to point out that remember objections, you typically want to get them out of the way at the beginning of the second meeting, because a lot of people wait. They go through the presentation and they show, Mike, here's what I have for you. Here's what I have to offer. And all of a sudden, I just had an advisor, he's new, coaching him, and he went through like two or three, I think, three second meetings. He didn't book a third meeting with any of them. That's big mistake number one, right? We've talked about this, but we've talked about a lot, so I gave him a pass. I just said we gotta fix that. And he also just gave them all the power, right? He basically told them, here's what I have to offer. Let me know if you want it. Well, what are they going to do, right? They're going to go home and they're going to think about it. They're going to go home and they are going to research, ask AI, ask their know-it-all son-in-law that works at a bank, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important for you to advisors that are listening to be thinking about, like, where do you want these objections? In my opinion, you want them at the beginning of the second meeting. Right. So that way, when you get all the objections out of the way and when you go for the close, you can close the business rather than all of a sudden they have their list of objections after you already tried to close it. And now it's all of a sudden all that momentum and steam you gained kind of gets taken back as you handle a bunch of objections. Right.
Yeah. I love
that.
So
keep it open until you're ready to close. Keep it open. Get those objections out of it.
Yeah, and that's why we socialize the word in the first appointment too, right? To get some of those objections out ahead of time. So I would say you're going to get some out in the first and some out in the beginning of the second. So I love that, Jeremy.
Yep.
All right, Jeremy. The market always does better than annuities, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't the market always go up?
It's a good question and good statement. Yeah, it does always go up, Mike.
Then why would you recommend an annuity?
Well, because even though the market always goes up, I 100% agree with you there. There's something I like to talk about with my clients about the sequence of return. Have you ever heard of that?
I have, but I don't understand it.
It's basically the concept of depending on when you're going to take your money out and when the market falls matters. I don't know about you, Mike, but I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if the market's going to drop tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, right? We know a drop's coming, right? It always does.
Eventually, yeah.
Yep. So the problem is if you retire right before a market drop, like a year or two or three into your retirement income, as you're taking money out of your portfolio and you have a market correction, you're going to run out of money. Let me show you a couple charts, and I would open up my article binder. Everyone should have an article binder, right? Open up your article binder and show the sequence of return charts. If you call us, we can give you a couple of good ones. And then I would walk them through. Look at this person A, market correction at the beginning, went from $1 million and got the 5.6% return, but they ran out of money because they had a market correction early. They ran out of money in 11, 12, 14 years. Person B, same exact scenario, taking out $50,000 a year, 5.6% return. Same exact scenario, but their market correction didn't come until year 7, 8, 9, right? Mm-hmm. That person never ran out of money. In fact, by the end of their lifetime, they still had like $800,000 in their account, And so that sequence of returns really matters. And so I would just walk the client through that. I didn't role play that as much, but basically just walk them through that sequence of returns and say, hey, you're right. Market always does, it does always come back. But if you're taking money out It's kind of like what I talked about at the seminar that you attended. More people die on the way down Mount Everest, right? So if you do the same exact planning and strategies to get up Mount Everest, the same exact strategies going down, a lot of people die on the way down because they don't have the strategies and plans. We here at my firm, Mike, we specialize on how to get down Mount Everest because 99% of advisors specialize on how to get up Mount Everest.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
I love that. And I always say, it's going up when you're putting money in and the market's going up. But when you start taking money out and there's a correction, it's a double whammy, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so awesome. Let's keep rolling.
Actually, one more quick one I like to say too. Ask the clients, hey, what happens if the market corrects and the market goes down 50%? How much do you have to gain? How much does the market have to go up? Because you're at 1,000 in the S&P, let's say. The S&P goes down to 500. How much does the market have to gain to get that back?
Isn't it 50%, Jeremy? Because it went down 50%.
No, Mike, because now you're at 500. 500 doubling to 1,000 is 100% return. So that's very important too. So that's a good little gotcha.
That's a good one. All right,
Mike. So let me ask you this. Aren't these annuities the same? Super high fees, high commissions?
Some do. I don't use that kind. So honestly, they're not all the same. There's good ones, there's bad ones. The ones that have the high commission, the super high fees, I don't use that kind. I typically use the good ones.
The good ones. There are some good ones?
Yeah, there's some good ones that don't have high fees, that don't don't have super high commissions, the ones that don't lock up your money. They're called irrevocable annuities. I would say majority of the annuities I don't like, but there's about 2% that I do. And so, again, when I run the assessment, I don't know what it's going to look like yet. But if I come back and I show you one of the good ones, are you open to looking at it?
Yeah, I'd be open to looking at anything. I just really don't like those super high fee, high commission ones. I just hear about them on the radio, these podcasts I listen to quite a bit.
I've heard about them too. I don't like to use that kind.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, we could talk about it.
So, Jeremy, how do you get paid?
Well, here's the beauty. Not a penny comes from you.
What do you mean by that?
So what happens is when you work with like an accumulation advisor, the ones who teach you how to go up Mount Everest, they take a fee out of your account. Usually it's like a 1% fee, plus or minus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming directly out of your account. Or like when you work with a realtor, right? You sell the house for $500,000, you're not getting $500,000, right? Because you have the realtor fees and other fees, right? And that comes out of your cash. The nice thing is the insurance company pays me a finder's fee. And all of that finder's fee comes from the insurance company, not from your assets. Okay, so 100% of your money goes to work. Pretty sweet.
100% of my $500,000 goes to work for me day one.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
You like that deal?
I like that deal. It's a lot better.
I mean, you can pay me more if you'd like. I mean, I don't work for free.
I don't know if I like it that much, Jeremy.
Okay, got it. That's fine. The insurance company cover the finder's fee. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. You know what? I guess, Mike, as we go through this and you showed me everything here, we need to think about it.
I agree. I think you should think about it. Is there anything specifically that you need to think about?
I guess just any big decision, I don't like to make it right on the spot. I like to just take some time, think about it, maybe pray about it, and just, do a little homework.
Okay. A little bit of this. Actually, I've had 3 back-to-back appointments, and actually I have to use the restroom. How about I just step out for a little bit? You and your wife can talk about it, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that, and then I don't know if we'll need a little more time than that, but yeah, let's do that.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Wife, what do you think? Should we do this?
Yeah, she says yes.
She said yes.
So I would say this. Typically during this part, the wife typically needs to think about it. This is guys or gals, hey, not judging, right? If it's the guy that needs to think about it, typically there's an objection, right? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we just need to dive into more, what's typically need to think about. This is a great time to okay, give me an idea here of, as you initially saw the plan I put together. We got, Jeremy, we got you your $10,000 a month that you wanted. You can retire right now like you wanted. 1 being, Mike, this plan's terrible. 10's like, Mike, you knocked this out of the park. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Give me kind of a range just to get an idea of what you're thinking.
Probably Probably, I'm a 7. What are you, honey? She's an 8, but yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
All right. Well, I mean, most 7 and 8s become clients. So let's do this. How about this? Why don't we schedule the next meeting? Okay. Same time next week work? That work out for you guys?
Yeah. Let me check my
Okay.
calendar. Yeah, that looks like it'll work.
So I'll give you some time to think about it. I understand. Like I said in the beginning, it's your money. I'm just an advisor. So let's schedule a time next week. You guys can think about it. Take some time. If you have any questions, write them down. Bring them in next week. Right? We'll answer them one by one. And I'll tell you this: typically, what happens with a lot of clients that are 7 and 8s, typically by the time they hit the driveway, that they made up your mind what you want to do. And so I just say that, like, we have, when you're ready, if you want to come in sooner next week, the light bulb goes off, you say, hey, yep, we want to do this, just give us a call and we can get everything started. But
Fair
if you have
enough.
any questions, write them down and we'll just go over them next week.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And let me say this too, Mike. I kind of threw a bunch at you with my response, but yeah, I love that. I mean, number one, sometimes just exit the room, come back, and they're ready. Let's not judge. Sometimes we need to think about it overnight. I like to always give them a reason to come back to. Like, hey, yeah, definitely. It's your money, and it's a big decision. It's good to think about it. So I'll take a couple different angles. I'll say, first off, help me with that. Tell me what exactly you need to think about. Tell me your process is probably an even better way to say that.
That's a great one.
Everyone has a different process. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about the process of thinking about it looks like for you, because it's different for everyone. And see what they say. And they might say, oh, just an overnight, just this, and I'll do a little research. And then you got to handle that, right? That's another research. So I'll tell you what, we've done a lot of research. Let me give you a few articles to research, right? A few things, third parties, right? It just means they don't quite have that trust for you built up yet, right? Which is common. People have trust issues, right?
Yep.
So you give them some third party articles, and now all of a sudden the trust will build a little bit more. I also like to give them that hook to come back to. So if for some reason, you're not getting there today and you kind of recognize that, just make sure, again, you leave it open. Hey, remember, we're going to go through those long-term care quotes next week as well, right? And you're still going to go through the income first, but you have a reason for them to come back. Or there was life quotes. Or remember, you wanted me to take a second look at your managed accounts if you're a fiduciary, right? Some reason to get them back in the door, some reason, because else if you leave that hook open, a lot of times they won't come back, right? They're like, I saw what Mike has to offer, so I just have to make a decision, right? And a lot of people have trouble making a decision. So
yes.
So yeah, 100%. It's all good.
We got a couple more here. So I get my RMDs from my IRA, and the account still keeps going up. Jeremy, why do I need to do this?
It's a good question. It's similar to our conversation about the secrets of returns. Again, you're going down Mount Everest. So going down Mount Everest means you're in the decumulation phase, right? Your retirement phase, decumulation phase can last 30 years, right? Just as long as your working years, 40 years. Yeah. Medical advances, flip of a coin, you or your spouse, you determine who it is. One of you is living to 90. So as you're taking those RMDs, those withdrawals out, you have to remember the account's going down because you're taking money out typically, right? So eventually those RMDs get less and less and less and less, right? Unless the account just, unless there's a miracle and the market just goes up for 30 years straight, but I haven't seen that. And so you got to keep that in mind. The other thing you have to keep in mind when you're taking out RMDs is, where do you think healthcare costs are going in the next 30 years? Up, down, or sideways?
I'd probably say up, Jeremy.
Where do you think taxes are going? Up, down, or sideways?
They're probably going up.
How about inflation?
Look at what's happened the last couple of years.
Fair enough. So as your RMDs are getting smaller, because you're taking out more each year, taxes, healthcare costs, inflation, everything else is going up. Is that what we want?
No, that's actually one of our concerns.
So that's exactly why we help our clients mitigate that risk and help them figure out, how do I turn that maybe RMD into a sure thing RMD, like we spoke about before? Because you still want the sure thing, like you told me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want, is a sure thing.
Yeah, fair enough. So we're going to build plans off of sure things and not the maybe RMDs. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. We all have an income, or we all have the income we will ever need or we have all the income we'll ever need, Mike. We're in a good spot. I just had a client had this yesterday. Literally, they each had over $100,000 pensions. These are rare, folks. Number one, if you tell me they have all the income they need, I'll tell you 99% of the time you did a bad job in the first meeting. Right? I want everyone to recognize you probably did something wrong in the first meeting if you're getting this question. But once in a while, that is true. So we have all the income we'll ever need, Mike.
Okay. Would you like a raise?
I think we need it.
So would you like to spoil the grandkids more?
I mean, yeah, we love our grandkids.
So I guess is there any charities or maybe college funds that you'd like to help out with?
My favorite charity is me and the grandkids, to be honest.
Okay. What if you take the grandkids to Europe? Here's
why I say that, crazy stuff Jeremy. Happening in Europe.
Okay. How about you take them to
Disney
national parks? Take them on a Disney cruise.
I like both of those. Okay. I'm kind of an outdoors guy.
Here's why I say this, Jeremy. Why do you have this money? What is the true purpose of this money? Is it to look at the statement and see my number? Here's why I say that. I'm just being honest. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I've experienced this many times with my advisor, with my clients, is that, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be looking at that statement and looking at the number. But you're going to be thinking about the people you care about and the time that you spent with them. So I'm not saying spend all your money, but do you think taking them on a Disney cruise, do you think they'll remember that for the rest of their life?
I like that idea. Yeah, they're going to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, you guys are great now. What happens when one of you gets sick?
I'd want to quit immediately.
You're both sick. If you're over 65, there's like a 73% chance that one of you will need long-term care.
Fair point.
Is long-term care prices going up or down?
Certainly up. Yeah,
is inflation going up or down?
Up.
So what if you got those great pensions right now, which I love that you have those. I wish I had both those, right? But would it be nice to have a third pension that, bam, you could turn on whenever you want?
Yeah, I guess so.
Lifestyle?
Depending on what it is and how it works and all that, yeah.
Let me ask you this. You guys were making $300,000 a year, and now you're going to $200,000. I don't know if I can get you there, but what if I could just keep you at $300,000?
I feel like with our investments, we kind of can just take those withdrawals out and keep ourselves there. Don't you think?
As long as it keeps going up.
That's not going to happen.
Does the market always cooperate?
Not in my experience.
And it's one thing you need to think about. The pensions are great, but remember, when either you die, there's a 50% drop in the pension for the remaining spouse.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a story that's happened, and I've seen it. Is, again, I hope this never happens to you, but I've seen this. We're going along, things are going great. Somebody gets sick, and we're writing checks for. We're not writing checks for $100 a month. We're writing checks for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, maybe $20,000 a month. For some of these facilities. Oh, and guess what? Your $1 million went to $500,000. So we're not taking, $120,000 a year out of $1 million. Now we're taking it out of $500,000. And then, Jeremy, you die, and we lose the Social Security, and we lose half your pension.
Yeah, it's possible.
I hope it doesn't happen to you, but one of the things is, why take risk if we already have enough? All you have to do at this point is not lose.
That hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So if I could find a way where you can maximize the dollars that you have, would you be interested in that?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Would it be nice to pass more to your kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I can't take it with me.
You can't take it with you, right? So, all right.
Fair enough.
Jeremy, I don't want to lock my money for 10 years.
I agree. I don't think you should lock it up for 10 years.
Then why are you recommending the annuity?
Because we're not locking all your money up. And I don't even like the term locking up, Mike, because what we're doing is we're buying a pension. You said that you wanted more income, right? You said you would spend that on your trip with your friends golfing in Scotland. Yeah. Remember a dream trip? Maybe do that once a year with this extra income.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's actually possible for you. You ever rode first class?
I've been in the comfort, not first class.
How about what if you could fly first class from here on out? How would that make you feel?
That'd be pretty nice.
I was on a flight in regular class a while back, and these two kids I was sitting next to were screaming, fighting the whole time. Their orange juice all over me. I literally was sitting in orange juice, pool of orange juice. I said, that's enough. True story, by the way. And I'll tell you this, Mike, we get to a spot in life where, we can do certain things. And the question you got to ask yourself is, why not? Why am I trying to, of course, we all, especially as men, right? We can all live in a van down by the river, right? Eating ramen noodles, right? Singing Kumbaya.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is we can get you an extra $3,000 a month. And we can do that by not locking up all your money. We're taking about 20%, and you're going to have $1.7 million of walking around money, fun money, outside of this. Does that sound pretty sweet?
That does sound pretty sweet.
That's what we're talking about here, Mike. Fair enough?
Fair enough. I love this objection because I love what you did. Again, you agreed with him, right? Yeah, I don't want to lock up your money. Another one that some of my advisors use I really like is, think of it this way. Honestly, there's no stock, bond, or mutual fund that's going to guarantee you 90 cents of the dollar day one. So think of it this way. You're putting like a 10% stop loss on your money for this portion of your funds. Cool. And another way to say it, I would be concerned if we're locking up all your money. But Jeremy, we're taking 30% of your assets to get the guaranteed income that you want. Not that you just need, but that you want. So I would be concerned if we're taking 90%, but we're only taking 30. The way we design this plan, so if you have, of your $1 million, we're taking 300. Is 700,000 enough for you for emergency funds?
Yeah, take a pretty big emergency to need that, but yeah, that should be enough. As long as the income, that 100,000 a year income, is guaranteed, like you said, for both of us.
Rest of your life.
That doesn't matter what the market does. Doesn't matter. You get that coming in no matter what.
It's just your new paycheck coming in.
And if I die, she gets that same amount.
Yep, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that. All right, what do we got to do? What's the next steps?
Just a little bit of paperwork to establish the accounts.
Yeah, she wants to do it for sure. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's a yes. All right, so I think I'm up. Okay, what makes you different from other advisors?
Jeremy, really, it's just the conversation we're having right now. Again, I'm not here to drive a wedge with your current advisor. It could be a great person. I've never met them. But again, a lot of people are focused on that accumulation phase, and that's all they do, and that's all they know. It doesn't make them bad. But like we talked about earlier, it's great to have a strategy to get up the mountain, but sometimes strategies fail. It's better to have a plan coming down. And so we're really focused on income planning and distribution. And where many other advisors, again, just focus on accumulation. And we just feel we've really focused on creating that plan that you want on a guaranteed basis.
Yeah, because my advisor has a lot of what he calls very good strategies, but you're saying those can fail, and you guys will create a plan.
A plan.
It's more permanent.
Yeah. Would you like a plan more based on guarantees, or would you like a plan based on a strategy that might work?
I mean, 20 years ago, I would say strategies is fine, but yeah, I want the guarantee at this stage, Mike.
Yeah. The other thing too is we have one thing that makes us a little different is when you become a client, you're going to receive that personalized income for life report. And we're also going to put together a personal financial inventory binder. This is something we put together for all of our clients. Have you experienced a loved one passing away and taking 6 months to figure everything out?
Oh yeah. Still haven't figured out one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So would it be nice to know, does your wife, Jeremy, know where to go if something happens to you?
I mean, I got the filing cabinet and, a couple documents and emails I've sent her over the years, maybe 10 years ago.
How long is it going to take her to find that email 10 years ago, Jeremy?
I don't even know if she still uses that email account, to be honest. That's
so let me show this to you. What we're going to do is we're going to put all your financial information in one spot. We're going to put your income plan in here. We're going to put your asset summary in here. We're going to put the accounts you have with us and the accounts you don't have with us in here. We're going to put your life insurance, your will, your trusts in here, any estate plan information that you have, your tax returns. And so when something happens to you, Jeremy, your wife knows where to go. When something happens to both of you, your kids know where to go. So instead of taking months or years to figure it out, it takes a couple days.
Well, Catherine just kicked me, so I assume she wants to know how much does that cost.
It's free. I give it to all my clients because we think it's important. So that's one way that makes us different, is we're going to put together a holistic plan instead of just a strategy.
I guess, yeah, we like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's book the next appointment. I'm going to run the assessment, and then we come back. I'm going to show your income for life report. And if you become a client, I'd love to put together that personal financial inventory binder for you.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough.
Boom. All right.
We did it.
We got that. Those are a bunch of objections. You can see our pacing. You can see that we're calm. You can see that we're just educating people, right?
Yeah.
Helping them make their own decision.
Yeah.
Right. by
Yeah, I love that,
agreeing with
Mike.
them and asking questions, right?
And again, just a quick reminder, ask them at the end of the first meeting and tell them rather that, hey, write down all your thoughts, write down all your objections, write down anything you come across between now and then. Bring it in, right? Bring any articles you come across, anything. We'll talk about it. We're going to take things nice and slow.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So if you want to role play cases with us, if you want to learn how to handle these objections, book a time with us. You're going to get Jeremy or I. And if you come join Team Elevate, we're going to help you through all this. We're going to help you overcome, the competing broker. I think that should be our next podcast. I think we should do one on firing the competing broker. I think that could be a good one. So come join the Team Elevate. You're going to get Jeremy and I. Let's go.
Stop trying to put the puzzle together by yourself. Let us help you. Let's go.
All right. Let's go.